let's deal with this bullshit from Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch, the woman on the right here, is the leader of the Conservative Party at the moment. This headline, Kemi Badenoch suggests trans people should use disabled toilets after Supreme Court ruling. Let's listen to what she has to say. I bet you can't wait. I can't wait. I'm sure it's going to be very articulate, intelligent, and compassionate.
About talking about the... You're very good about talking about the issues, but not talking specifically about what you would do. Would you say trans people now need their own facilities?
Most, if not all organisations have a way of dealing with this. Not having gender-neutral loos is one of the easiest things that you can do. Almost all businesses I see have disabled loos. They are unisex, different from gender neutral. Trans people can use those. But if you are providing a single sex space, it has to be a single sex space. And the Supreme Court has said, as I always had, that sex is biological. It is biological.
Yeah, it's biological, but it's not binary or immutable, you fucking idiot. But, wait, what did she say here?
Neutral loos is one of the... You have a way of dealing with this. Not having gender neutral loos is one of the easiest things that you can do.
Not having them? What are you talking about? That doesn't answer the question. She's just been like, well, where can trans people go? And she's like, well, the first thing you can do is get rid of gender-neutral toilets. You fucking idiot. And then she's like, oh, unisex and gender-neutral are different. That's just pure propaganda. But yeah, she's saying... I actually heard from some disabled activists that... the phrase disabled toilets isn't great. I didn't know that. That is what lots of the news says, but they were saying that they prefer accessible toilets. That's totally cool. But I said, in response to this, I don't think, well, I'm not going to use the accessible toilets because I don't need to. Like, there's no, I don't want to take up that space. Like, one of my close friends is disabled and needs to use those toilets, and I've taken her in them quite a few times, and it is so frustrating when, like, it happens quite a lot, particularly like music festivals and things where it's a bit more chaotic and you're like queuing for the accessible toilet with like some other people in like wheelchairs or with, you know, who need the facilities, and then like a couple comes out looking guilty holding hands, or like two people walk out and they're like, oh, sorry, we didn't know there was a queue. Oh, I'm really sorry for holding you out. Oh. And it's like, why did you fucking go in there? There's only one of these accessible toilets around sometimes, or maybe there's only one. Sometimes, you know, some like music festivals are great and they have lots, but some of them just have like one, and you have to walk across the whole fucking place to get to this toilet. And then you have to queue because some selfish bellend couldn't be bothered to walk just round the corner to one of the trillion toilets for, like, you know, for like just the women's toilets is just a little bit further. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to go in the accessible toilet instead because I can't be bothered to wait. It's like, yeah, but the people who can only use these facilities are very inconvenienced by that. And I'm not saying, you know, not all disabilities are visible, and I'm not saying I judge every single person who walks out the toilet like, you didn't need to use this. I'm not like one of those pricks. I don't know, but sometimes it's very clear because they will tell you. Sometimes they'll apologize for using it, like, oh, I didn't realize that there was someone waiting here. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have used this. Like, well, don't do it again. It's fucking annoying. But I also saw people saying that, because I said, well, I'm not going to use these toilets because I don't need them. I'm going to use the women's. But they were pointing out, like, I guess I wasn't trying to imply that no trans people need it. Obviously, some trans people are disabled, but also, like, accessible toilets are there for people who need to use a third facility. And there are some situations where maybe a trans person is only safe to use an accessible toilet. And I do think that I can't speak on behalf of disabled people, but I'm sure some of them will understand the difficulties of the situation, and they're probably more aware than most about, like, the politics and the struggles around having access to toilets. But in general, I'm not gonna use up, like, it's so frustrating for me when like a disabled friend needs the toilet and there's not one, or there's one that's being used, or it's been like vandalized, or like some dickhead has got in there and spilt their beer everywhere or something. Is so frustrating to me, and it's not even me who like needs the toilet in that moment. But I would never use up that space. And I understand that there's this kind of feeling that I'm not disabled enough to use the space, so I shouldn't use it for other people. I'm not really talking to that. I'm like speaking as someone who has no need for that at all in any way, and couldn't even argue to. But I just think another point about this, which is just so ridiculous, is like trans women and men apparently are both too dangerous and scary to go into the women's toilets. Because they're a danger to women. Apart from if those are disabled women who use the accessible toilets, suddenly it doesn't matter. Like, oh yeah, you can't go into the women's toilets, you can't go into the men's toilets, because the men and the women they'll be so uncomfortable about you being there. They'll be so scared. They'll be in such extra danger that a trans person is there. Being with the disabled people, fuck them. Like, who cares? Like, oh yeah, more dangerous, making people uncomfortable. Disabled people don't care about that. Like, what are you talking about? It's just so clear that to them, trans people and disabled people occupy the same category, just like subhuman, broken. Like, we just push them off to one side. We don't really want to have to think about them. We just put this one big box for them all to just wee in all together. Like, yeah, it's just so inconsistent. I mean, everything about the gender critical worldview is inconsistent, but this idea that disabled people suddenly don't care about this kind of stuff, it's just so dumb. It's just such a bigoted and stupid thing, and especially for her to be like, sex is defined by biology. It's biology. It's biology. Yeah, and you're wrong about the biology, you stupid dickhead. I think probably the best thing about Kemi Badenoch is she is disliked even by her own party, and is very unlikely she'll ever be in charge of the country. Of course, like, Kemi Badenoch is like a generic anti-feminist conservative. She hates trans people, but she hates feminists and gay people and immigrants. Like, she fucking hates immigrants. Of course. Kemi Badenoch is the only UK political leader offering unequivocal solidarity to women, says J.K. Rowling. What a surprise! Just, like, could there be any more clear example? Like, still the media and the news is pretending that, like, J.K. Rowling and the gender criticals, they're just feminist with concerns. And here they are cheering on Donald Trump, cheering on Kemi Badenoch. They're literally just conservatives. They may have once been feminists or had some kind of left-wing view or whatever, but clearly they have got trans derangement syndrome. It has melted their brain. The black mold has got into her brain, and she's been posting far-right propaganda for years now. All of them, all the gender criticals, and now that is it. Their single issue, the single issue they care about, they are taking the most far-right stance on it possible. And then, who are the people saying the things they like in Parliament? It's the people who are on the far right. And Kemi Badenoch is pretty far right. So, yeah, gender critical radicalizes people right and encourages them to be dismissive of disabled people as in their quest to hate trans people. And like, they hate disabled people separately. It's not like, they like disabled people, but they haven't thought of this one thing. Like, these people are demonic when it comes to disabled people's rights, but it's just a further thing on top of that. That's just, shows they don't give a fuck. So no, I will not be using the accessible toilets unless I'm with one of my friends or a stranger who has asked me for help. Get fucked, Kemi.